start out on attack. What are you saying now, Digital? Oh, God, here we go. It's already started early here, Raven. It started early. The boys in the chat, I have no doubt there's a fair bit of, well, there's no love lost, we'll say that much, because there is just so much that lie between these two teams, and this could be a good proving ground. We see, oh, hello, cheeky little Nomad Lion. I guess nothing too out of the blue yet.
Yeah, I think in particular this Lion ban seems to be a bit of a standard one against the Chiefs because they have shown they love to use it on attacks these days. They really aren't afraid to bring it into the lineup, and they can use it to great effect with these roam clears. So I think especially a team like Knights, they have a couple of players that love to play a little elusive, so getting that off the board, always the play. And then the rest I would say is fairly, you know, classic coastline. Nomad, she prevents the runouts, so if you want to do any runouts of like the doorways and various windows that you can on coast, get Nomad out of here. And then Valkyrie in particular, very strong on the defense and coastline. Lots of outside camera placements, so just get that out of the way so you don't have to always bring the IQ.
And just adding on to the mirror, why not? Because, you know, mirror's mirror, and mirror, mirror will not be on the wall this time around. Blue and Sunrise where we go first. Honestly, I cannot explain how much I'm loving seeing Tachanka played so regularly. It's a nice little change out for the smoke, and it looks like Juicy's going to be sticking this one. So keen to see what Knights bring to this attack. I really do feel that this is a Chiefs map. I'll be completely honest with you, Raven. I feel really confident for the boys in blue here.
Yeah, I mean, me too. Mainly because of a couple of things. One, definitely because of their massive Direwolves victory, but the other, just general form between the two. It feels like, in terms of hot and coldness, the Knights feel just a touch colder than the Chiefs do. So I think that could definitely play a factor here, but I tell you what, as the desk prefaced beautifully, this rivalry, this matchup runs pretty deep this entire year. They really have been tussling it out at the top of OSS 1 and 2. So this is just another opportunity for that story to continue and potentially flip. You know, I would not put it past the Knights to summon some extra super strength to just get a victory here.
Yep. Pull it out when it matters most. And, you know, just to preface, Chiefs on 6 points, Knights on 5 points. Now, that doesn't really mean much when Invictus are on 11 and Knights are on 5. Like, literally just 2 wins is all that kind of separates these teams from top and bottom. Direwolves a little bit unlucky there, down on 3. But regardless, this is big for the stage. This could really start to set these teams up for a potential playoffs run. And, I mean, like we were talking about in that last game, you know, there's quite a bit that kind of that comes with the pressure of these style of matches. Now, from what I believe, Knights have 100% confirmed their 2022 season for APAC South. Chiefs are yet to do so, and I'm not going to do the math now, but I would dare say this win, 3 points here, would probably nearly set them clear.
I think closer, but definitely still a bit more ground to make up compared to Knights. But yes, every victory is going to help, especially a 3-point one, so I'm sure that's exactly what the Chiefs are chasing. This has been some really good, efficient entry so far in this first minute, just really clean droning. They've already cut off at least half of this map here, so they now know that Knights are either isolated on site or below for that vertical play. So this is usually where, on this site, you make that decision, right? You're either going to try and push out these vertical players above and try and get that vert control, or you kind of create distractions elsewhere. But given that Knights just have so much presence up here, I think it's going to be tough for the Chiefs to ignore this one.
You can see already, fair bit of attention being put across there, pushing from VIP as well, Ethan from Luggage. This is really, I mean, really, how much time are Knights going to be able to burn here? How much can they get done once they're in that position of holding? This is, I mean, this is really quite spread out for Knights. In terms of like where their players are, it's spread out, but it's condensed in the impact that it will have. Chiefs are going to have to start to open the bank account eventually, because I'm really not favouring this right now.
Yeah, it feels like they're shaping up for potentially a blue execute here. And I mean, that's becoming a fairly standard comfort, but it's where the least amount of map control, I'd say, needs to be taken if you're going to go for this execute. Still haven't quite indicated it, but it's starting to get pretty late, and Hayward's going to take advantage of that. Just yeets out onto Hookah Balcony, and he's going to find that opening pick for Knights.
That's quite large. That is Fisho down. I'm pretty sure Habana had all but used the X-Kairos. Digital now looking to open things up on that second floor. There's so much to try and contest here. God Legion finding a kill. What can Hayward hold on to? How long can he be there for? 20 seconds. They've got control of blue now, Chiefs. They might be able to go deep. It's going to be Ethan pushing in from Sunrise. What are Knights going to be able to do here? I feel like they're locked out of the site. The diffuser's being stuck. God Legion's holding the lines. Knights are going to have to play for a post plan here. Josh finds one, quickly traded out. It's all on God Legion now. This is a lot of pressure on the young gunner's shoulders. Oh no, Hayward lets it slip by, and God Legion sneaks behind the bar. He's now got a great opportunity. Can he cut off the line? He spotted him. Josh, he might just go to stick this. Is he going to be able to have some amount of cover? Oh, Nade, he's hoping that this hits. Does it? Josh! Oh my goodness! God Legion takes no chances and swings wide. Oh wow, that was far too close for my liking.
Oh, he totally botched that nade too, so good thing he swung, and the suspense on that round, that was pretty nuts. But at the end of the day, Chiefs did a great job getting in for that position to actually even get that plant down in the first place. And God Legion, I can't quite recall 1v2, 1v3 post plant. Actually, really good job from him on that round overall to get the opening one for the Chiefs.
Absolute gamer, there's no doubt about it. And now, Knights, they move on. They don't try to hard stick anything there.
Attackers need to locate and defuse
But
bombs.
who's he going to be sticking? The big chunky boy. Interesting call. Again, one that we know Juicy is generally on that hard anchor, whether it be Smoke or Tachanka, I guess now. So certainly in the later parts of this, these rounds, I should say. My goodness, I'm tripping all over my words right now. Juicy will have the larger impact as these rounds start to unfold for us, but I do wonder, like, where Knights are going to be able to, or when they're going to show us, you know, what they've truly got on this map. Because you wouldn't just be taking Chiefs here just for a laugh. You know, we already saw the 7-1 from Chiefs.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be, but, you know, Knights generally aren't that kind of team. They're fairly confident in their prep ability, and certainly it's something that has been a big part of their rise to the strength that they've had throughout all of this year, is just the way that they prep for teams and the way that they just seem to understand how a lot of the other teams play has always been one of their strengths. So, yeah, you would like to think at least that this has felt a little bit more calculated, and I feel like, if anything, that first round didn't really indicate anything for us either way. You know, it was just a really good tussle, came down to post plant, 1v1. Chiefs happen to win it. So, yeah, still need to see some more Siege to see how this is going to kind of trend.
Dude, Barricade only giving a false sense of hope there as Digital quickly and promptly deals with that. Now, Juicy going to be sticking out, watching, ensuring the balcony is not free real estate, or at least the swing isn't. It's relatively nice and simple here for Knights, not really complicating anything that doesn't need to be. Josh underneath as well. Does he have a vert hole? You bet your bottom dollar he does.
Yeah, some cheeky little holes just in general all through that position. But yeah, first minute here for Chiefs. And they're going to lose God Legion. A bit of the hero of the last round. That's going to be quite the L. And really nice job just on the info and the C4.
Oh, and steady for this round for the Chiefs after losing their opening player. Oh God, I definitely didn't see the 4K. I'm blind, absolutely blind from God Legion. Just goes to show. Now they're going to look to shape up, put a bit more pressure on the western side. Dare say Hookah would most likely be the end point here for at least one of these members. So Josh could be absolutely pivotal if he can hold on to underneath this. Behind this bar position, Worthy's not going to have any free access. And I mean, I don't know, it just kind of feels like they're stalling out, but this is what we want to see. Now starting to shape up to flush out the player who's sitting in behind bar, but Hayward finds the kill. I'm damn near sure that was from blue. Things are just going from bad to worse, but Ethan could be the savior.
Yeah, and they do kind of have a good pinch on this bar player, but this Cool Vibe Stairs is going to just be the constant hurdle here. They're trying to flush it out. This is going to be pivotal, and that's big. That is a beautiful little two-piece from Chiefs, giving themselves that man advantage now, but only 20 seconds to go. They've got to try and get their skates on.
Yeah, this is going to be another big round for the Chiefs. They might be able to claw this one back. It was God Legion last time. Here's down. Juicy now falls away. That's going to keep pretty much the lava-like floor on blue. They're going to try to push through. Juicy now needs to hold. Sage swings wide onto both players. Coming up, Cool Vibes. And it's Worthy left. I don't think he can get enough done here. Oh my good God. Too close. Too close for comfort.
He was actually like half a second away from potentially just getting a gnarly little 1v2. But anyway, it is what it is. And again, it'd be the indicator of how this game is going to go. We're seeing it come down to the wire, and it's just constantly swinging back and forth in terms of who's in front or what the momentum is. It's kind of what you would expect between Chiefs and Knights, but yeah, hard to separate them at this stage. Feels like we're in for an exciting match. Great job to Knights, though. I mean, the Chiefs did a really good job clearing out their vertical positions below and even just getting that Cool Vibe stair control, but credit to Sage and Juicy, they're kind of anchor players. They really stood up at the end of that round.
It's something that I think Guz was prefacing on the desk is, you know, this might be a game of, you know, who's got the bigger clutch meisters, who's got the bigger big boys, you know, if that makes sense. We've got Haywood and Sage, just for an example. Haywood and Sage on Knights, and then you kind of look to Chiefs. They've got God Legion, Ethan, and Worthy that on a dime could completely change the entire outcome of a round. You saw it there. Ethan found 2 of the opening kills after they lost the player. So this is just, this really will come down to some of these individual players stepping up, and that round was 100% Sage swinging from blue there. That was absolutely gorgeous, just shutting down Cool Vibes. No chance of them making their way to site when you're playing like that. And I guess Juicy, you could probably, you could credit for playing that exactly how you want an anchor to play that, right? You don't want to get overzealous when those players are starting to peak. Fall back, use your U-tilt, ensure that it's going to be a little bit more tricky. So we're seeing a nice little variety of both of these teams so far in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, definitely have. It's been a fairly exciting couple of rounds, so yeah, keen to see who will break the deadlock here. Now, Chiefs just doing the old classic, but not as normal as it used to be on Coastline. You know, go to the roof and cut the rotates. You don't have as much of space to do so. There's still that cut through to VIP though. No one playing there at this point. And look, I'm actually excited to be watching more Coastline because I just personally haven't seen a lot of Coastline since the rework.
Yeah.
So far, first 2 rounds have been very enjoyable.
Certainly have. Guess if we're going to have clutches on the agenda, well, you're never going to complain about that. Right now, Josh just underneath in kitchen. I mean, you know, intel varying, maybe the C4 comes up and demolishes that player who was sitting in penthouse, but it's not to be. And again, we really are questioning how Chiefs are going to be able to open these rounds up. We saw it beautifully in the last round. They pinched that player down in Sunrise, and it looks like they're going to continue to try and clear this top floor here in round 3.
So far doing a pretty good job of this pinch as well, just really effective use of those X-Kairos to ensure that Drink Spa isn't that comfortable to stay in. You see Dino, he's held his position, but he's had to hit the deck. There's no way he's going to be able to stand up without a roof player catching him. God Legion also looming for this pinch, so again, Chiefs set up pretty good here for this clear, but it's really just going to come down to whether they can execute on these gunfights. And as you just saw as well, Knights doing some really good job with vertical play to try and cover their opponents, but Dino, he couldn't be saved in this instance.
Poor Haywood, you could hear the shots hitting the deployable shield, and he hits the deck in Sunrise. Now, full control for Chiefs on that top floor. I think we saw a Roma, is it, over in lobby from Knights? I don't know where that is, but just keep your eye on that. That could well come back to haunt them. It's Josh. He is going to start to make his move, but maybe he's just going to come behind into office and try and nullify that from Chiefs.
Yeah, really good positioning from Josh, so he's going to come down to those drones, but yeah, Chiefs going to have to try and start to get a move on. 25 seconds. They're not really set up right now. They do have man advantage, but this is going to be tight.
Certainly is. Sage is going to be one of the linchpins here. Josh is going to come in and support him, but it doesn't need him. He might even find a second. C4 goes through the hatch, and Digital nearly catches that as if it's baseball. 3 players left. It's God Legion opening things up, but there's just no time. There's surely not enough left in this round for the Chiefs, and just like that, Knights show us a very decent hold in round 3.
Very decent hold, and look, the Chiefs did a really great job with a lot of that setup, but maybe caught sleeping a little bit on the clock. They just didn't really progress it as fast as they needed to, and it just ended up with that kind of chaotic finish. But yeah, great job from the Knights. You know, they didn't overextend, they didn't feed Chiefs too early as they were getting that control, so it meant that they were set up pretty well to be able to close out that round.
Can you imagine that? I mean, surely this is no tactical timeout this early on. It is. Goodness me. Chiefs in the heading into the 4th round have called a tac timeout. I mean, you know, you call them when you see them. For all intents and purposes, it's been 2 clutches in round 1 and round 2. That round was a little bit more clear-cut from Knights. So I can see why they might be a little bit unraveled, but certainly very early on to be calling that tac timeout.
It is very early, yeah. 3 rounds in. I mean, there's still so much siege that could happen between now and the end of this game. I mean, if you take the last match, for example, that is to go all the way to an 8-7. I mean, this tac timeout, it's always a constant question, actually. You know, I was going to say this tac timeout you could say might not be that effective, but it's really hard to gauge. I mean, especially from our perspective as casters, you don't hear the comms, so hard to say what's going on or why they've called it. But yeah, it's usually... It seems to be most effective in that kind of late game mental break to help you kind of push through something you're struggling with. So, I mean, maybe that's the use here, but it feels very early.
They've clearly seen something, or maybe a quick toilet break. You never know. maybe it's not. Maybe it's not as diabolical as what we think it is. Maybe they're literally just needing to fill a drink bottle up. We know Digital's all about that hydration. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, stay hydrated. So this will, I guess, you know, tac timeout this early. I don't, you know, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on it just because we've seen how impactful those tac timeouts can be. They really can completely change things up and really give you the space to maneuver around in a map. And just now that they don't have that, they've just got so much time between now and the end of the game, especially when you start to consider, you know, potential overtime. Round 4 versus round 14. Very, very different story altogether, but no doubt about it now. Let's see how the impact for Chiefs comes out of this.
Let's see, indeed. Seeing kitchen service held for the first time here by Knights. Of course, they had an unsuccessful blue bar sunrise way back in round 1. As of course, the only round that Chiefs have won so far, so we're finally getting to see the full spread of sites here from Knights. Of course, there's another one that has changed. You can't quite plant directly in that service door anymore. There is now a double door that you have to push past before you actually in the plant zone. So it has kind of changed the way that this site plays out quite a bit, actually. If anything, I feel like this is one of the sites that's changed the most with the rework.
I don't know if this is a fun fact, but I feel like doing a Xenox fun fact moment. This is the most banned map in Oceanic Nationals, which of course is the national league for both of these teams that we see them play week in, week out. So really, we've only seen it once out of, God, how many games is that? I think it's like over 10 play days now that we've had. So this really, you know, for me, I don't feel comfortable for either team right now. I just feel like there's so many unknowns, even though we've seen Chiefs absolutely demolish a team in APAC South here. Direwolves and Knights are 2 completely different beasts. And we'll wait and see again for Chiefs because the late rounds have just been so chaotic, Raven. So chaotic with those clutches. And, you know, when you consider how little time they had to work with in that previous round, will this continue? Will they continue to have these kind of heart-wrenching moments?
Yeah, look, it feels like it's kind of shaping up towards that right now. I mean, the Chiefs, again, doing a fairly decent job with their setup, but they've taken all of 2 minutes to really get to that point, and Juicy's the only one on the Knights. So Josh has lost a little bit of armor, but Knights, you know, they're still generally just sitting pretty, holding their comfortable positions on site. You know, they're kind of abandoned the majority of this roam right here from what we can see. One outline still in penthouse, but that's pretty much it. So again, this is about Chiefs progressing it from this point. Their setups have been fairly decent from the attack point, but it's the execute since round 1 has been a bit, I don't know, chaotic.
Yeah. Only way you can put it. Oh, God Legion. There we go. Cooks an aid to perfection, finding Juicy, who was already low, mind you. So he'll fall down with no impact for the rest of this round. But again, Raven, 30 seconds. Is this enough time? Oh, no. Oh, God Legion. God. Oh, no. He re-peaks and Sage will find him 20 seconds left.
Looks like they're ready to just jump in. Fisher guy's the one with the kit, so he's going to have to try and go for this plant. Josh with a great position, though. Not sure Knights are in a good spot to be able to deny this. And Chiefs just go bang with 2 picks here, Manic.
Yeah, this is just really strange. Sage will find a pick now. There's one on site. Haywood couldn't find it in time. And the Chiefs leaving it down to the last few seconds, but a win is a win nonetheless.
Yeah, it is. They book in another one. But again, they're kind of struggling with that just connection of their setup of their attack to the actual execute. I mean, of course, they could be a part of the game plan, but it's certainly leaving a lot to chance in those final moments, and certainly making it tough for us as spectators to really, get the vibe of what could happen, because it does create just some absolute chaos. But that was really well done from Chiefs. I mean, they stood strong in that final 15 seconds as they pushed through. Yep. They didn't quite get the plant down, I don't believe, but at the end of the day, they really took some solid control around site there. It was a great job from them. And look, the Knights, they're just not going to give that a crack. They're going to go straight back to Hookah Billiards, as that's now open to them again.
Really, I want to ask Chiefs to stop doing this to me. Just throw a cheeky little spanner in there. Just, surprise me. Surprise Knights. Because right now, those late rounds really are just coming down to small one-on-ones, won and lost. Potential just positioning for some of them as well. Like, it's just so utterly chaotic, as you put it, Raven. It's the best way.
5 seconds left before
And it's Chiefs have been doing a good job of clearing. There's no doubt about it. They have been able to flush out the positions of Knights. The 2 rounds that Knights have won, though, just, kind of felt like they were really able to run rings around them a little bit on those roams and back away with enough time to play. So, see Chiefs just get a move on. That's the only thing I want. I'm a simple man in this life. I just want a quicker round.
Well, again, entry seems to be decent here, entering the opposite side of the map to get this control, which is really great. They've done it fairly effectively in general when they've needed to push across to Hookah side, not just when attacking Hookah Billiards, but also for those Blue Bar Sunrise defenses. They've been taking Master across. So they're doing this part efficiently, but yes, it is that mid-round. Where are they going to kind of push it? How are they going to push it to be a little bit more effective? Certainly we're going to keeping an eye out. You can see that the Knights are pretty fairly spread out. Haywood in particular all by himself down in lobby here coming from security, so that's certainly something that Chiefs are going to have to keep tabs on.
Yeah, Dino and Haywood together. It's a scary prospect on the roam, especially with the Vigil in mind. Chiefs, you can do everything right on the early parts of the roam clear, but still keeping an eye on the Vigil can be incredibly difficult, especially when it's someone like Dino who's just got the IQ of Einstein. I don't know where I was going with that. I was going to say of an elephant. I think they've got high IQs, right?
Sure.
I got no clue, man. I dug myself into a hole. I'm dying here.
That's okay, buddy. I'll save you. Look, this is probably better, I'd say, from Chiefs, except they're just dying, so that's not good. But look, they made some progress. I'm just cursing them. I don't know whether me speaking was a good idea or not, Manic.
No, look, I think maybe you saving me has kind of thrown the Chiefs into a bit of a spin, because right now, this is not a very promising round. God, Ethan just coming back after such a long break, and he's still as sharp as ever. This time, he's not going to be spotted behind the couch. Fisho, I mean, may as well write this one in the book for the Knights. A 4v1, every position held. Surely he gets close enough to make enough noise, and Juicy will pounce. And a quicker round from the Chiefs there in terms of the progress towards site did not pay dividends, so it looks like we're in for a long round to finish on.
Yeah, no, it didn't, did it? really fell apart a bit quicker. They gave you the quicker rounds in general, Manic, but just didn't go in their favor this time. But we're going to see Blue Bar Sunrise for the third time in this defense half from Knights. They're 50-50 on it at the moment. And I think this is a pretty good call because their Blue Bar Sunrise defenses have looked fairly decent. Of course, Chiefs did win it in round 1, but I don't know, it wasn't the safest of plants that they got, and it wasn't the greatest of post plants either. It was a bit of a gnarly God Legion 1v3 clutch. So, yeah, I think this is a good read from Knights. You know, I look at that and feel like it probably was their strongest side.
Yep. One thing that Chiefs really struggled with as well in that round was that top floor clear. I think they actually just ended up completely dismissing it and going for the, I think like said, the Sunrise push. So I'm optimistic for Knights heading into this. A 4-2 half would be very favourable and quite a comfortable position to be going into attack on, which, you know, from what I can remember from last stage, I think Coastline was tending to be more attacker favoured for APAC South anyway. I'll go back and have a look at the stats just to make sure I'm not completely tripping out. But regardless now, Chiefs, they do not want to be looking down at a 4-2 half. It's just, you know, just the numbers alone can be quite disappointing, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like what's justified is certainly a 3-3 half out of this game. It's felt very close and for the most part somewhat back and forth. I'm just super curious how Chiefs are going to adapt to this because we've seen, yeah, as you were saying, kind of really struggle with the executes. Looks like it might be just a little bit more direct this time around. Hard to say. They're droning out site very early here in Blue Bar, and they're all quite stacked on this west side, so maybe it is just going to be a slightly quicker execute.
Would love to see that. Just inject it, boys. Send it. Don't actually, please make sure you do your due diligence. So, you know, lonely little caster just wants to see some action. There's no doubt about it, but I think you're spot on there, Raven. What they're looking like they're posed to do could... I don't think it's going to catch Knights off. They've definitely got enough players watching these positions now.
I just wonder what they're going to do about the vert, though, because especially if they're going to try and push it off the side. I mean, there's so many vert positions that can be held by Knights here, and it looks like they are just going to go above and get some kind of control, which, again, they're going to have to get a move on because it's now half the round through, and if they really are going to try and displace these vertical players, it's certainly going to take a bit of effort. They're not keen to drop off, but in fact, who's that chucking their face in the window? That's Hayward. He's looking for some peeks out. Gold Legion's actually found that opening at least, though, onto Dino.
How impactful will that be? I don't know where Dino was, to be honest. I lost track of him in amongst the midst of it all. So Juicy now going to have to hold from behind. Bar Digital has found Hayward. This is looking clinical from the Chiefs, but Sage, don't give him the opportunity. He rips the two heads off the Chiefs. And now a 1v3. However unlikely, oh God, you still just believe. And that is going to be the 3-3 half as Chiefs now head for their defense.
Quick moment to really highlight Sage as well. This has really been the stage for Sage. He's been super sharp, not just in APAC South, but also in OCN. He started to become quite the highlight player for Knights, kind of up there with Dino a bit. Not Dino, Hayward, sorry. Hayward's been having some pretty highlight plays. Again, that is a good thing about the Knights roster, though. It's fairly well-rounded. I mean, Juicy is a fantastic support player, and then Dino and Josh kind of flexing it. It's just, when you have their gunners really gunning, the Knights are flying. So I really hope that Sage and Hayward can kind of keep it up because it definitely will keep them in this game.
Now, I did go back and have a look at the stats from Stage 2, and I was
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
right to a certain extent. You know, you got to give props to the play-by-play casters because they don't know a lot, but sometimes they can make a point. And Coastline was actually the most attacking-sided map that we had in APAC South last stage, and it was at 43% defender-sided. So there you go. Not by much either. Cafe came in a close second, so it's not. I don't know. I don't think that we can even read into that too much, considering as well it's had a completely, well, not a completely different change, but it's certainly changed in terms of the map itself. But it doesn't seem to be skewing that heavily. Although Knights could really show us something different here.
Yeah, again, we didn't really see
Attackers are moving out to
a
locate
sway
the bomb.
either way from that first half. Obviously 3-3, can't separate these teams, kind of negates the half in general. So yeah, look, super keen to see with this side flip how this transpires. Obviously something we highlight a lot was the Chiefs a little bit slower on their setup. That last round was probably the perfect balance, right? They really got set around site beautifully, and their setup to execute was just fantastic, and that's what really got them in. So yeah, curious to see what's different here for the Knights. They've brought their Jackal to really help with the roam hunting. Chiefs only brought it half the time. I can looking back here, 3 rounds they brought the Jackal, and that was pretty much it.
Impact, no impact. Guess we'll wait and see. Knights are a team that could very much put that to use, especially on Hayward. Hayward can be quite a menace, and Digital at the moment favouring that gunfight. I mean, hey, stranger things have happened, but I wouldn't be exactly trying to force that issue, no doubt about it. Long line would surely be favourable for the attackers there, but cheeky little peeks, you never know. He does fade away in the end. It's burned a little bit of time here for Knights.
Yeah, actually quite a bit of time burnt here, but as you can see, Worthy, he's getting hunted at the moment by the Jackal. And there's some vertical play starting to come through from the Knights here. They've used quite a lot of frag grenades to try to clear out this defense, and they have lit up Digital just a little bit, but they haven't netted themselves any kills. So that's certainly going to not feel like a good result for them. 90 seconds left. They do have some really decent vertical control, but as you can see, Chiefs are still lurking. Ethan himself, he's hanging over in luggage here. Not droned by Knights, this could come back to bite them.
It's a hard agree there. 2 drones as well left for Knights. Well, I mean, one in the pocket. The intel is going to be incredibly slim heading into this final minute. And I think they're going to follow suit on what we saw from Chiefs. Oh, God, Ethan might be the first person. Yeah, I think he's been 100% well played from Knights to flush him out and open up the round. Oh,
yeah,
God.
That was a great drone from Aqua. Heard the yellow ping onto him, and a really good pinch from Knights. They flushed that out fantastically, giving themselves this man advantage. Also, still just under 40 seconds to go, so pretty well set up with God Legion, low HP on site. I think this is a really good start for the Knights.
Oh, God, Fisho. Okay, that's one way to do it. Pulls in from lobby. That makes Knights a little bit uneasy in terms of where Fisho's now going to be. He's going to go kitchen, and it looks like Sunrise might be the point of contention here. Knights are starting to swarm around. There's one toward blue as well. Fisho has been spotted. He's got the smoke bait as well. This is starting to look a little bit dire for Knights. 10 seconds left. Digital can't find the kill, and very quickly it's mopped up here by the Knights. Fisho tried his damn near best, but couldn't make it work.
Yeah, he actually did a really great job to fight that back for the Chiefs, but no, the Knights in that mid-round really won it for them. That was a really, really good clear of that top floor and gave themselves that man advantage. So decent job, and the Knights have kind of replicated Chiefs there with their first attack win on the half, and it was also on a blue bar Sunrise attack.
Just a little bit more convincing, we'll say that much. A God Legion 1v3, although we backed him into it, it's not the most convincing of situations that this time around. It's good to see Knights band together, although, you know, time is running pretty slim. 1 or 2 fights go the other way, and it's a completely different story, right? So it's all calculated, or at least we'll say it's calculated from Knights, as we now move over to kitchen for Chiefs. They're not looking to re-attempt that whatsoever. And I feel like Knights and Chiefs have both approached their attack in a very similar manner in terms of, you know, sweeping well and truly and ensuring they do the right thing. But Fisho kind of roaming around and being a little bit undetected toward lobby does worry me a little bit. Just a little.
Just a little. I'm keen to see how kitchen service will play out for Chiefs, and I think, I mean, the pace that's been set is that they're probably just going to trade rounds back and forth here, back and forth. Feels like we're on track for another OT game, but I think that's important for Chiefs in general, just to not let the Knights get a bit of a buffer. I know in the past, Coastline has leaned somewhat towards the attacker, so I think in this instance, you know, if the Knights jump out to that 5-3 lead, it's a pretty dangerous position because, again, only 1 round away from match point, for example, and on top of that, it just means the Knights that much closer to stopping the Chiefs from being able to get 3 points.
That's the big thing. No, don't want to let it slip up like we saw for Order. Oh, Digital's watching that line sharpish, and Juicy can't do a damn thing about it. He wasn't even allowed to do a single thing. There's the drone gone that was giving so much information across to Knights earlier on. I really like this extension because you've got Worthy across in study, or at least he was, or in office, and he's pretty much ensuring that Digital can't get flanked from that area. So Knights are either forced to try and fight their way through hookah just like that, or they're trying to force their way through choke points. And either way, Chiefs have just set it up perfectly.
Yes, it's been a really good setup from Chiefs, and they've done a really great job to take advantage, but Knights are still fighting back here. Hayward's been able to get God Legion off the board. Dino's about to be in engagement with Digital. I'm not sure he realizes just how close he was to Digital potentially wallbanging him, and now Josh has been taken out by Ethan, so Chiefs really stepping it up in this round.
Certainly are. They've bounced back with great success, and Dino, you gotta hate to see that. I'm pretty sure Fisho was prone watching from the hatch there, so that is a bit of a feels bad. Oh, Haywood. Okay, we know where this starts, and it all kill one opening, and with a minute left, he can isolate pretty much every fight here.
Definitely can. Oh my god, those outlines looking at him. He's so sharp though. Thought he was going to do that for a second there, Manic, but he doesn't. Chiefs lock it in. Again, based off a really good mid-round. Chiefs stood up and they just got the picks when needed, and they stopped the Knights getting the map control that they were looking for. And again, trading the rounds here, 4-4. Really hard to separate these two.
Well, if last game wasn't good enough for us to be entertained by, this one certainly is. Not letting up for a second. I mean, if this is the trend that we follow for the rest of the night, you know damn well that by the end of tonight, when we get to the Elevate and QC game, bit of Thai rivalry in there, that is going to be juicy as all hell if this continues the way it is. Must be a full moon outside or something, because none of these teams are giving up an inch. And when they do, I tell you what, they are so quick to respond. So, Chiefs now moving up to the hookah. And I am really curious, you know, when's this trend going to buck? Because it really is just going back and forth. Like, are Chiefs going to be able to kind of hold firm here? Are they going to be able to connect a couple of these together, you know, connect four? I mean, if they do, they're pretty much done and dusted, aren't they? But it really feels like there is a potential, and Knights are just so unrelenting, though. I can't, I'm doing a Xenox here, I'm flip-flopping too much.
That's okay. Look, that's just the classic play-by-play move, isn't it?
It is.
I don't know.
Yeah, 100%.
But no, look, it's starting to get to the real business end of the game where, you know, trading rounds will either just push you to OT, or it will just come down to that moment where a team gets that break point. I know Dev's a fan of saying break point, but that's really what it is about. Chiefs or Knights winning this one. They move closer to match point.
Yeah. Closer
to 6. It's what it's all about, is progressing close to that. And yeah, look, it's just so hard to read. Like, I honestly couldn't tell you which way I feel like this is going to go. It's not like the Order wildcard game that we had in the first match of the night, where it felt like somebody had an advantage. It feels very even.
Yeah.
But what's not even is the man count, because Mr. Ethan has stood up for an opening kill here.
That's a scary prospect. That is very scary indeed. Knights, are they able to dig deep and fight back? It's Sage as well. Like, Sage is just such a gnarly player for Knights. Single-handedly opens and closes rounds as if it's nothing, you know? Snap of a finger, if you will. But now with that player missing, need to see the really... Oh, God! Oh, no. I can't even finish my sentence. I'm just trying to ease into this play-by-play, and Worthy's just shutting me up real quick.
A really big C4 kill, and again, Chiefs have jumped out to this nice little 5 versus 3 lead. This could be a big frag grenade from Josh, and he hits it perfectly onto Ethan. Would have had no idea what hit him until it was done. So that's certainly going to help the Knights here. Worthy just on the other side of the wall from Josh, though. Could potentially trade this one back. Final minute for the Knights. Got some fairly decent positions around site.
Yeah.
Hayward's certainly looming Could swing. Oh, straight onto God Legion, right next to him.
That's a bit of a weird play. Oh, not weird play, sorry. I don't mean that by any means for God Legion. I mean, like, how are they in that position and didn't really know of each other's presence? That is absolutely insanity. And now Haywood, surely there's a drone that's telling him that there's a player toward White Stairs, 100%. He's, oh my goodness, caught out as he starts to look another way. Haywood cannot find the kill yet. That now makes things really difficult with Fisho opening up Juicy. 2 players left here for Knights and things are starting to look real dire.
Yeah, Haywood just goes straight through the gate though. Takes a lot of HP. Certainly not favouring him in that gunfight. And now all on the shoulders of Josh here, Manic.
Just a matter of time here. Stuck at Cool Vibes. All 3 players watching God. Don't do it to him. Do not do it. Worthy's completely bolted away there. Not interested in trying to stick around for that story. But much better from the Chiefs there. They found the opening pick and they capitalised on it afterward.
Big round for Fisher guy as well. I think he ended up with a 3K in that round. Really stood up on the frag department. Nice from the anchor position on site with the Kaid. And that's the Chiefs. They've finally got back-to-back rounds. In fact, it is the first time this entire map they've actually won back-to-back rounds. It's jumped them out to the lead now. And again, we talked about it at the business end of the match. This is where it gets deadly. Knights, they need to try and find an answer back here because if the Chiefs jump out to that 6-4 lead, feels like that's going to be a cushy spot to actually try and lock in the 3 points.
So,
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused
for those of you
by
at
attackers.
home that are wondering why we're not spectating right now, unfortunately, our wonderful observer Sky tonight has had a power outage. So, we're trying to get straight on top of this. I believe it's actually the Dev Martyr himself that's going to be on the sticks. We'll wait and see when this gets resolved. This is one of the more unique things about the home broadcast, isn't it? It's a shame that home casts aren't over yet, but it's one thing for sure that I worry because I know what Dev's like, you know? I'm a little bit worried.
He'll be right. He's had a little bit of ops experience way back in the past, though. He definitely hasn't done it. Doesn't done it to this degree. But look,
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
you can at least see some outlines. Hey, like.
I mean, you know, you just got to have fun with it. You got to make hay while the sun shines. And, well, I mean, I've cast with Stranger Things before. Hang on a second, what was that?
Oh.
We just, did it just
Is this a
auto do
feature?
that? Yeah. I think it just auto did that. It was like, you know what? We're not going to sit in the one position for too much longer.
Well, look, yeah, look, this is actually pretty great. You know, you can see the Knights there droning in from Sauna, trying to just figure out what site setup they've got here in Sunrise to deal with. Fisher guy is going to be just doing some more architecture on the smoke, on the mute actually. But no, look, it's giving us the lay of the lands. Some really good intel gathered from Chiefs, and Knights seemed like they're taking some really good map control there on the east side. Really trying to clear out verticals nice and quick. You can see they're actually already in VIP.
Oh, goodness me. Already in VIP and RIP to Dino. Looks like it might continue. A decent fight coming out here. Ethan's actually being dropped in the meantime. I think I just saw a lobby run out maybe from Worthy. And this is, you know, a very, very early start for both teams. A kill on the board for both sides within the first minute. That's unheard of.
Yeah, this match definitely hasn't had that kind of pace, but again, pretty tight affair here, 4 versus 4, just as the 90-second mark ticks away. Chief's still holding some really great roam positions. I mean, Digital, he's not alone over on this lobby side in Kitchen. God Legion's still just completely uncontested in Hookah. Starting to get some drones come his way, and there it is. Josh has actually found Digital, so that's going to give them some control off towards the horizontal aspect of site in Bathroom. God Legion looking to replace.
Don't do it to him. Don't do it to him, Fisho. It's a kill on the Juicy. I'm just waiting for it. I'm just waiting for the Juicy that'll head to peek up here. Oh, no. God Legion backs up the angle as he pushes into Kitchen. They've got to be careful now because, well, it's completely dirty. And it looks like they've got the information. 40 seconds left. Worthy is kind of on a bit of a flank there over toward lobby. You can see the hologram of him. But where are the rest of Knights?
It's a great question. Chiefs, though, they're sitting pretty on site. Josh, he's found Fisher, guys. This could be a good opening. In fact, Fisher was the only one on site. God Legion on the vertical plant happening in blue bar right here. It's right on the edge of breach. Josh has found a triple for the round here, Manic.
Oh, no.
All on the shoulders of God Legion.
Oh no, we've already seen this story before and we know exactly how it ends. 1v3, God Legion. No time left on the clock here. Knights looking to stick this. Watching from the lobby is Josh, waiting for the... Oh my goodness, can he find the timing? It's behind the bar now, 1v1 on site. If he can isolate this, then it's on like Donkey Kong, but he can't hit the shot. Hayward holds firm. Knights bounce back.
Beautifully done from Knights there. I mean, it was a fairly even round as it felt like it progressed through, but the Knights really did a great job to find the opening on site in particular. Losing Fisher Guy, he was the only player that seemed to be on site for the Chiefs. God Legion holding Vert, and then the other player in lobby. So identifying that was really big from the Knights there.
Now, of course, if we couldn't figure it out, we've gone to a small little tech timeout because we need to sort out some issues there. Dev Marta getting on the sticks as soon as humanly possible, and we'll be back underway in just a jiffy. But nevertheless, it just hasn't stopped, Raven. This has not stopped. The to and fro between these teams, it's not holding up for a short second. And, you know, the barn is well and truly on fire at this point. So whether it burns down to a crisp or not, I don't know. We could go to overtime yet.
Well, this is actually always my favorite position, is when a game goes 5-5, right? Like, the next round win is going to go to match point, and then obviously it's super tight then. Like, it's either a team trying to save the game to push to OT, or a team actually salvaging the 3 points. And I don't know, I find that like a really exciting situation to be in. And just the way Coastline's played out, we've had so many close rounds and just some really good back and forth, you know, adaptable siege from both teams. It's been super enjoyable to watch so far.
It has, and we know that, you know, it doesn't really let up. It truly doesn't. Now, talk about very quick seasonal standings, you know, the implications of this match. Chiefs, if they're able to take all 3 points from this, they will jump up to 30 points, which then kind of makes things really interesting because, actually, no, I mean, I'd have to do the math here, but I actually think if Chiefs win this, they 100% are clear for 2022 because Order and Wildcard have already played their games, so there is only a maximum of 6 points. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Juicy storyline. Woo! If Chiefs manage to win this game in regulation, they will book their 2022 season. If, however, they let this one slip, it'll be interesting because Order could still fight back. They could still find themselves in a position where they may knock Chiefs down a peg, which would just be absolutely insane. Regardless, though, there is no doubting that, you know, regardless of whether Knights are able to win this or not, this does impact Stage 3 as a whole, Raven. You know, you don't want to go too deep into the seasonal standings yet because we've still got 2 play days to talk about this one. But with Knights down near the bottom of the scoreboard, the ladder, even though it's 1 point or 2 points the difference between 7th place and 2nd place, they want to be booking their spot to this next major. I would hate to see a world in which they don't even make playoffs.
Yeah, look, that's definitely a scenario that could happen. But as you said, you know, the whole standings is just so close outside of Invictus Gaming out in 1st place. So whoever wins this match, like, it seriously matters. If they're trying to make playoffs, the winner of this is definitely the most likely to do so. On top of the fact it's so close, so taking a head-to-head against an opponent that's within 1 point or on the same points as you is obviously going to be just so crucial in potentially securing that. Like, I'm so sure with the way this kind of stage has played out, probably going to have some tiebreakers happening towards the end of the stage or at the end of Playday 7. And those are going to get broken by predominantly that head-to-head. So, yeah, you want to give yourself that best position possible. Getting the victory here will be so important.
Just going to call out Guz for a quick second. He was so sure that he had me hook, line and sinker. He was absolutely sure. I asked at the start of this match, I said, Guz, can you do the math for me? Could you please tell me if Chiefs win this, if they go clear? And he's like, no, Order and Wildcard could still jump them. No, they can't, mate. They've only got 2 games left for both of them. If they win clear here, it's over. It's in the bag. But, of course, then we're going to talk about the overtime implications, all of that kind of stuff, but it will come around. Sorry, Guz. I had to do you dirty there. I know that that's going to come back to haunt me, but, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to have a bit of fun when we're in these kind of moments. But tech timeout aside, this does give both of these teams a chance to have a breather like we do.
Yeah, it does, and I'm sure there's actually a lot for them to talk about. It's been a very tight game, and I think it's a poignant time for them to actually get a bit of attack time out because, yeah, we talked about the one being used super early.
Yep.
This definitely gives a bit of a chance to have that other kind of perspective style chat. You know, you can always try and talk in between rounds about what you can change, but at the end of the day, it's these broader chats which always help you really get that perspective, and that's definitely what's needed when you're at round 11.
That it is. 5 apiece is where we're at, and we have just been told by the wonderful producer that Knights took that chance to take a tack timeout on top of the technical timeout. So they needed an extra minute there, Raven. They needed to recompose. And this, I mean, that makes things so interesting. Now we're going to see the full effect of whether or not those timeouts are really played into the hands of Chiefs or not.
Absolutely. Super keen to see how this plays out now after this little break. And again, to this point, it's 5-5. It's been so hard to separate these two teams. Chiefs did finally get back-to-back rounds, though, in 8 and 9. But that's been thwarted by Knights. And again, I'm just couldn't get any tighter.
No. Dev prefaced it coming into the day, didn't he? He said it's the tightest league. So, you know, that makes sense. Makes sense that it really does come down to the wire for our first 2 opening matches. Now let's see who hits first. By the way, Dev, if you can hear me, Dev Mata, I want to be able to see the util on both sides. Just a quick heads up. I'd like to see the expanded player cards, but that's okay when you get around to it, mate. Hey, legend.
That's a dub. Cool. All right, as we progress, first 30 seconds, Knights just getting themselves all set up as usual, as Dev's also getting himself set up, figuring out how this observing works. Here we go. But no, this is a really good entry early here from Sage. Don't think we've called out the fact that this is Penthouse Theatre. What?
Oh, no, we haven't. Definitely did not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a big one as well. I mean, obviously, the least played site on this map when it comes to APAC South. I don't know about the other leagues. I'm not going to go out there and make outlandish claims. But what is really interesting about this is back in Stage 2, it was the most successful at 100% on 2 attempts. So, you know, who knows? Who knows what we've got in store here, mate?
Yeah, look, good pocket picks. I'll tell you what, this is the time you bring him out. Yeah, round 11, 5-5. Catch your opponent by a little bit of surprise. Just got to make sure it pays off.
Yes.
Looks like it's quite the aggressive extension into VIP as well, which is probably extra ballsy than it used to be. Oh, speaking of extra ballsy, that is a fantastic frag grenade. Doesn't get the kill, though. God Legion can be saved. But no. What is... Okay.
Wait, where were those shots from?
I think the window.
Oh, double window out on VIP, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm starting to get weird vibes from this round. Things
lost your bearings.
Yeah, I've certainly lost my bearings. Doesn't help with Dev Martyrs on the sticks. That really does start to scare me a little bit. But scary is the 5-5 scoreline we have right now. Map point on the line. I'm trying.
Sage getting very aggressive, and Juicy also has found this opening. This is again what I was actually trying to say before, is this was a very aggressive hold in through VIP, which is tough because there's now this external wall, which the Knights have made short work of. A couple of trays coming out, but the Knights again, total man advantage here, 4 versus 3. Got themselves in a really great spot for this execute, but 30 seconds, Chiefs just need to try and hold on a little bit longer.
Here's a problem as well. They've only had 1 drone for the last minute, so they're going to go into this with very little intel. All they're going to be hoping for is that players don't do exactly that. God Legion now on a flank. This could be devastating. Slowly playing around the edge here as Josh manages to find the kill on the weather. Look at Ethan. Look at Ethan's positioning. He's going to be able to find a free kill. Juicy doesn't expect it. What on earth is that? Don't you dare tell me that was a 180 flick through the wall. Let's see it. I got baited. I thought for a second it was just the spray transfer. It kind of was in a way, but that is Chiefs on that point.
Still a very nice little clean 2k there to finish it off for Ethan. Really good job for Chiefs to fight that one back. The Knights really did have the advantageous position, but they couldn't quite capitalize when they had that opening. And as you said, Chiefs on match point. Historically, you know, it's been really hard to separate them, but that was a really good choice to go Penthouse Theatre. It feels like it's paid off. Going to Kitchen Service, we haven't seen it since round 8. It was successful for the Chiefs.
Wow. Spicy meatballs. Let's get into it, shall we? Final round here. Again, clarifying. Chiefs win this, Guz. I know you're listening. If Chiefs win this round,
Defenders, protect your
they
bombs
manage
from being
to
defused by
secure their
attackers.
2022 season. Could instantly see his name pop up in the chat then. There was instantly. I love you, mate. I love you.
All right, this is I mean, big round for both teams. A big one for
Yep.
Knights here. I mean, they're the ones that are really having the struggle stage. I mean, we haven't really highlighted as much for a little while, but the Knights are just haven't been the same in stage 3. As we were saying earlier, they are currently sitting in 6th in the standings. Losing to Chiefs is going to put them much further behind, on top of the fact that there are teams ahead of them yet to play.
Yeah.
They really could be finding themselves a bit segregated down at the bottom end of the standings and in a tough position to potentially not make playoffs after losing this. So this is quite a big deal. Even just saving 1 point here could be very important for Knights.
Totally agree. Totally agree. With 2 play days left, and at the moment, for Knights, there's only 8 points up on the board due to the fact that Chiefs have secured that overtime. Really, it does just come down to the wire, and you never know. Invictus could slip in these last 3 play days and leave the door wide open for a team to book their spot directly to the major. Now, with the form IG are in, I would say no, but we know that stranger things happen. And right now, if you are the Knights, you don't want that to happen. You don't want to leave anything up to chances. You want to be able to take as many points as you can. And likewise for Chiefs, they want to find themselves either playoffs or direct to the major. They went to playoffs back in stage 1. They put up a great fight against CAG and Fnatic, but were taken out in that first round of the lower bracket. So they've got a lot to prove in this stage. Oh, what? What? Huh?
Getting super aggressive, God Legion there.
Oh, what is he doing?
Continues it. Absolute mad lad. Oh my God.
God Legion! My guy, in one of the most important rounds you could have, he yeets it out the window. But Josh is still on for a 1v4 clutch here, Raven. Don't count him out.
God Legion's still alive though. I tell you what, he might be able to put the nail in the coffin here. But yes, Chiefs are in a great position here. 90 seconds for Josh to make this work, but he's been spotted. He's in kitchen here. Chiefs know where he is, Manic.
They certainly do. It is only a matter of time. They're just playing patiently. They're waiting for him to peek around these corners. It is literally a game of peekaboo. He may have found himself into a very tricky position. God Legion brings the round in for the Chiefs, and he closes things out. All 3 points are taken, and that is their 2022 season confirmed for APAC South.
Massive from the Chiefs there, really stepping up when it mattered. And I mean, same could be said about God Legion in that last round. I tell you what, he just went absolutely off, put his jets on, just rode that momentum. Beautiful stuff from him, and great game from Chiefs. Knights really challenged them. That was a really tough fought game from both sides, but this could be a sign here. Chiefs getting this win against Knights in APAC. Maybe it's their chance to jump forward into the playoffs and try and challenge for the major.
Well, that's it.